So I started football when I was 5 years old, just down at my local club, South Bendigo, running around with my brother. So I think my first game was in the under-9s in, I think, 2010. And then sort of played boys footy up until under-12s. And then obviously not allowed to play boys footy much longer after that, and had to go up to under-15s at Sandhurst with the girls, and then played a few years there and finished up playing local footy with a local women's team. Yeah.
I guess moving into this year as well, what were the main goals? I guess last year you had a pretty good bottom age year, and I guess how'd you progress your football, just the mindset you had moving into this year?
I think I knew that this year was going to be probably a big year school-wise, as well as football. So I was just my mindset was to take every day as it comes, and just take each opportunity as well, and put my best foot forward playing football, of course. But my main goal was to play academy, and to get that opportunity was huge for me to start off the year. So, yeah, that was really good. And then obviously to play state as well and, excel at the Pioneers.
Well, take me back to the academy because, there was a very obvious trend with you that you're a big-time player, and I guess how's that mindset come about over your career? Is there just something that clicks because you always stand up when you need it, and on an occasion like that? Take me back to even the game against the All-Stars. What was that like? And just sort of seizing the moment, how do you take that on in your game?
Yeah, it's just something that's clicked with me. I never have tried or practiced to be a big-time player at all. So, yeah, that game, I generally find myself the higher the standard, the better I play and the better I perform. And I suppose that comes with thriving off pressure. I'm not someone who lets the pressure sort of bring them down or let the nerves, sort of take over from my performance. So I think that helps at times, especially in those big games. But, yeah, that All-Stars game, to kick that first goal and get us off to a good start was a huge thing for me to start the game. Obviously, the nerves and having clubs and stuff watching and it being a pretty big day was something I, thought about all day. And to start like that and for the girls to get around me like they did, really helped me to perform for the rest of the game.
And then sort of take me to Pies footy because you talked about the high pressure, obviously, and obviously your girls sort of struggled a bit throughout the year, and obviously things just got worse as the year went on. But I guess how did you handle that, though, from a leadership perspective? Because when you're trying to play good footy and obviously the talent around you probably wasn't as strong as what you had at, academy and state, what was that like, and how did you keep building your game at that level, really? What was sort of the main focus?
Yeah, well, I sort of knew from the start of the year that it was going to be a pretty young side, a pretty undeveloped side, and I just had to, grab what I had, sort of thing. So, yeah, I think being nominated as captain at the start of the year, that was my main focus. I've had a big focus this year on developing those younger girls at the Pioneers and sort of bringing them up with me, and showing them, what it's really like to play high standard football and that it doesn't come easy. And sometimes you go into years and you lose. And we didn't. Well, I think we had one win for the year, and had some pretty significant injuries and some key girls drop out throughout the year. But yeah, the focus for me was not to win this year, and it was just to build my leadership skills and make sure I left the girls that I had this year, or the girls that I led this year, in good stead for next year. Made their focuses a little bit narrower for sure.
And then on that leadership, did that impact your game in general? Just in a positive way, I guess, being able to lead on the ground, did that impact sort of tactically how you moved around the ground? And did your focuses switch at all and improve the way you played?
I think my leadership is a pretty strong quality of mine, and it comes naturally. I don't normally think too much about it. I just naturally like to lead from the front, and I'm a bit of an extrovert and like to be loud, and that sort of comes with the celebrations as well. So I don't know, it just comes naturally, and it doesn't impact my game at all. And in fact, I enjoy it, and it probably makes me play better at times as well, being able to organise everyone how I want to.
For sure. And then generally your game, how did you feel like your midfield forward sort of mix up went for you, and where do you feel like you improved your game generally? Just was there one area or the other that you felt like you really excelled in, or was it just both? You felt like your game was just becoming really complete.
I suppose your game's never really complete, but for this year, I was pretty satisfied with it. I think at the start of the year I started a little bit slow and then obviously was held back by injury. But yeah, I sort of came into the year like had focuses on things that weren't sort of football skill. Like my leadership and my running and my fitness and my gym work and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I was pretty happy with my games this year. Still obviously working on my speed and burst and being able to play that midfield role a little bit better. But definitely found my forward craft this year, really good.
And then talk me through your championships. How do you feel they went, and areas you felt you improved on? Obviously, like you said, the level around you was equal and much higher. So what was that like for you, and building general skills in general? Just what was that like for you?
National champs, my favourite time of the year. Going on camps with girls and making new friends and that sort of thing. I love that side of it. Getting to know how they go about their footy and tapping into everyone else's sort of abilities and feeding off everyone else's strengths. So that was really good. I felt like I started definitely my game in Brisbane was not my greatest game for national champs. And I think I was played the week before was my first game back from injury from 12 weeks. So I didn't really have too much expectation for myself and instead just focused more on trying to get back and not, getting halfway through a game and having another injury. So that was more the focus for the start. But that second game with Metro, I was pretty happy with, started to find my form a little bit more. And played pretty well there and got the girls close along with the rest of the team. And then finish off in WA with a win was really good. And I was, again, found my form a little bit more towards the end of the champs.
What were the lessons you took out of the champs, if any? Was there anything in particular you kind of used as a stepping stone just to build on a certain element or aspect of your game in the latter stage of the season?
There's lots to learn from everyone else around you. But probably some key things were to really try and fit my strengths in with others. Definitely in the forward line there. So those tools, we worked really closely on sort of getting to the front of the contest and being the crummers for them, which I've always found a strength of mine. So, just working together with the taller girls and sort of putting our strengths together probably was the biggest thing for me.
And then how do you structure the back end of your season? Obviously, thins started to unravel and girls started to pull out. And what was that like for you personally, having to lead that type of team? Because, you are focusing individually, you got to perform, but also lead a team as well. So what was that like? What was that balance like for you? Because you had a pretty unique position given, compared to the rest of the league. So how'd you build your game in that back end of the season and sort of just maintain balance?
Yeah, it was tough at times. Trying to get the girls up on as of a Saturday and before the game, and sort of saying that. Trying to lead younger girls is sometimes not that easy, and trying to keep them motivated and turning up each week and putting in the hard yards and going to training was probably the hardest thing. Just trying to keep the girls happy and enjoying their footy because losing's obviously not fun, and just had to teach them and lead them in a way that sort of taught them that winning wasn't it, and that you just don't give up, really. I tried to not let it affect me at all, and it did. Sort of my form, when you don't have that balance around you, it's hard to perform, and when people struggle to get the ball to you and all that sorts of thing. Just tried to stay positive and work through it, worked with what I had.
Well, how do you feel like you did maximise your output given those circumstances? Were there different ways you had to adapt your game and sort of bring yourself into it a little bit differently?
For sure. I played every game. I played, I think, every position nearly. So I had to work up and down, and it was tiring. and I had to make sure I get it every contest and sort of tried to feed the ball out. So yeah, it was a tiring few months, but I definitely probably am better for it.
And then generally, where do you feel like, when you're sort of reflecting back, where do you feel like your best football is played and where your strengths are coming out just 100%? Where do you feel like you've sort of maximised your strengths this year, and where's your best football?
Probably that All-Australian game. I started the year not too bad at the Pioneers, and then when we lost injuries and lost balance and that sort of thing, I tried not to let it get in between my game, but sometimes that's hard. And then my national champs wasn't too bad, so yeah, probably out of all the games this year, definitely All-Australian game. It's probably been my best.
And then the last question is a fun one. What was your best celebration throughout the year?
Well, I made a bit of a mistake and tried to do the salt and pepper on Marvel Stadium. And some say that's not what it looked like. So yeah, probably that one. I mean, I wouldn't take it back. It was a lot of fun, but probably should come up with some better ideas.
Or have you got any ideas in the bank that are just waiting to come out?
I haven't. Oh, I've got a couple, but I won't let them out now. I'll save them for the next time I run out.